All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wait a minute here until we make sure we have a connection before I start the Thursday morning, August 2nd, 2018 expose on a weapon that's being deployed against hundreds of millions of unsuspecting people. Let's see what we've got. We have a connection here. Let's take a look. Looks like we've got a connection. All right, so anyway, the title of this broadcast is called Death by Soda. You know, one of the most important things we can do, folks, is examine what goes into our eyes and in our mouths and into our minds and into our hearts. It isn't every day that I have the misfortune of having to go through a Walmart parking lot, because it's quite an experience just to look at the overall, well, how can I say this? You know, Walmart has become a cross-sectional analysis of mainstream America, unfortunately. But if you look at the parking lot, I live in Southern California and it doesn't rain here anymore. And what you see in the parking lot in California in a Walmart is the epitome of porqueria, as they say in Spanish. You know, people dump their disgusting sodas on the ground. And you want to know what that soda does to the asphalt? That high fructose corn syrup, that sodium benzoate, that phosphoric acid, that caramel coloring, that acesulfame potassium, that sucralose, that phenylalanine, that aspartame. You know what that does to the parking lot? It stains it with this goop that never goes away. And yet, everywhere you go, people are sucking down these gigantic cups of this death juice. Now, why do people drink so much soda? Is it a sickness? Is it an illness? Is it stupidity? Or is it an addiction? Well, it's all of the above. Because if you don't drink soda and you taste it, your immediate bodily response is to spit it out, because nothing tastes like that occurs in nature. I'm driving by a pharmacy and the soda pop, the Coca-Cola and the Pepsi is more inexpensive than the bottled water. Now, how is that possible? Is it possible that they're subsidizing the destruction of human health? Well, of course they are. Because they know that if they make the front end cheap, they can jack up the price on the back end. And here's my point. If you drink soda all the time, your teeth are going to rot. You're going to get fat. You're going to get diabetes. You're going to have heart problems. You're going to have obesity issues. You're going to have poor eating habits. And you're going to have all kinds of chronic metabolic health problems, the solution of which will be petrochemical pharmaceutical poisoning that comes at a high price. And that's the goal, folks, is to get you to kill yourself and love doing it. Death by soda, ladies and gentlemen. You think I'm kidding? All right. Let's start out with my favorite one of all, which is Diet Joke. Yes, indeed, folks, that silver can, that bizarre marketing strategy that has been employed to get people addicted to drinking Diet Joke. You know that product that people that are on a diet drink that are actually fatter than everybody else, because that stuff with the sweetener that they put in there, the aspartame and the phenylalanine, actually makes you hungry. It actually makes you hungry, folks. It makes you eat more. It makes you crave carbohydrates. And carbohydrates in their refined form, like wheat, flour, and sugar, make you fat. It's stupid. And that's what the government wants. They want you to be fat and stupid. Now, I'm not insulting you. I'm telling you that you're being ruined by these people. Not to mention the fact that it's going to give you migraines and brain tumors. I know people who drink that stuff. They got headaches all the time. You know, when they go to the doctors, you know what the stupid doctors do? They give them migraine medicine. You think they would tell these people not to drink this crap? Oh, no. No, they just give them drugs. Why? Because the doctors are a bunch of morons, too. They're all in on it. You know, I'll never forget when my wife was pregnant with my first child, we were kind of clueless. I wasn't clueless about the important things. I knew that we weren't going to inject that child with toxic vaccines. And I knew what to feed my wife, and my wife knew what to eat instinctively. And we avoided all these crazy prenatal tests they make everybody go through. But here's the deal. I remember we went to this Lamaze class, and I brought this up before. And in this building, it was the Virginia Croissant Cancer Building or whatever at the St. Jude Hospital in Fullerton. I live in Fullerton, in case you didn't know that. That's why I'm called the Fullerton Informer. Well, in one room they were having the Lamaze class, and this other room was this room where some sort of a conference was going. It was full of doctors. And you know how you can tell they're doctors? Because they always wear the white coats, and they always got this stethoscope around their neck. Even if they're having sex with their wives, they're wearing the stethoscope. For crying out loud, they never put the stethoscope down. They want everybody to know that there's some stupid doctor. Well, I get it. They're doctors, okay? Whoop-de-doo-dah. You spent way too long getting mind control and your brain's cracked and brainwashed by the Rockefeller pharmaceutical interests. That's a fact. So anyway, I look in this room full of doctors, and every one of them was drinking Diet Coke. All of them. All of these moronic imbeciles in their white coats with their stethoscopes. I mean, they're wearing their stethoscopes when they're at a conference. What are they going to do? Take everybody's heart reading when they're eating their Diet Coke to see how much the caffeine jacks it up? I mean, come on. So all the doctors are drinking this stuff. So obviously they have no clue about what poison really is. That's why they're dealing poison for a living. Well, Diet Coke is probably one of the worst because it's probably one of the most well-marketed. And if I'm not mistaken, Mormons own the Coca-Cola company, even though caffeine's prohibited according to their religion. So what do they put in Diet Coke that is so addicting? Well, it's a secret, folks. It's a proprietary blend of poison that no one is allowed to know. But I can assure you it's highly effective. I've watched people very close to me, including a neighbor, drink this stuff by the cases on a daily basis. And one of these people ended up developing a brain tumor. Now, is that a coincidence? Who knows? It could have been from this guy's idiotic obsession with wireless and his Bluetooth strapped to his head all the time. Or maybe he sleeps next to his Wi-Fi repeater. Who knows how this guy got his jollies, but we know he got a brain tumor, and he was a Diet Coke addict. And I hope he's not a Diet Coke addict anymore. He'd have to be really stupid to keep drinking that stuff after they cut half his head open. But the point is that people that drink this stuff, for some reason, can't stop drinking it. Now, let's talk about Pepsi. You know Pepsi, remember the Pepsi Challenge? Remember that? Remember when you were kids, it was back in the 70s, it was the war between Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Like we didn't have an option to drink water or something? Oh no. Well, Pepsi's just as disgusting. These people at Walmart that dump it on the ground after they get out of their car so they can go in there and get another 12-pack of this stuff. You know how you got all these black stains all over the ground? It isn't the 1971 Ford Thunderbirds leaking oil all over the parking lot anymore, folks. You know what it is? It's those weirdos that are dumping out their half-drunk cup of this 69-ounce cup of soda that they got for $1 at McKill-Yourself drive-thru. And they dump it on the ground because it probably got hot from sitting in their car with all their donut wrappers and everything else. So they dump it on the asphalt in the parking lot. And it makes this black blotch on the ground. As a matter of fact, you can go there and you can step in it and your shoe will get stuck to it. Sometimes your shoe will come off your foot. It's disgusting. What do you think this stuff is doing inside your body? Well, look around and you can see what it's doing to everybody. Just start paying attention at who drinks the soda, folks. And look at them. And hopefully it's not your wife or your child or even yourself. Get off the stuff. Now, Pepsi, caramel coloring. I'm going off of memory here, but you know, okay, water, carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, caramel coloring, artificial flavors, sodium benzoate. And if you're lucky and it's one of them really trifected out ones, it's got the sucralose and the acesulfate potassium and it's even got some sugar and caffeine and you know, all the good stuff to just wreck your liver and eat your stomach lining and make you insulin resistant, so you just keep turning every ounce of sugar into fat right around your midline. You know, then it starts hanging from your neck. You know, then the man start growing boobs from it. And I don't even want to go on. Listen, this stuff is poison. And I'm sick of driving around, seeing these big, huge trucks belching diesel smoke into the air, delivering this garbage to all these stores where people are packing their carts with it and taking it home and feeding it to their kids and killing their freaking kids. And why do they have vending machines with this stuff at school? Why? Because the school district people have sold out and they don't care about the kids. That's why they feed them chocolate milk and donuts for breakfast and advertise it for free. All you have to do is lie about your income. They don't verify it. And they give you all the GMOs, all the chocolate milk, and all the donuts your little kid's heart can desire until it swells up and seizes up and ends up as an organ donor. Am I off base? Why is it that when I go to the 99-cent store, the 2-liter bottles of Shasta and all these sodas have expanded into like 2.5-liter bottles, and they're still $1? Why are they giving us more poison for less money? Do you know when I was a child back in the 70s, a 2-liter bottle of 7-Up or Pepsi was like $2. And now a 2.5-liter bottle of this toxic poison, adjusted for inflation, is still under $1. How's that humanly possible? Folks, death by soda is just one of many examples of subsidized finishing off of the people. There's no way it costs less money to make a can of Coke than it does a bottle of Dasani. Why is the water more expensive than the soda? Because they don't want you drinking the water. They want you drinking the soda pop. Because they know the soda pop will make you sick. That's the goal. They want you sick. They want your teeth rotten out. They want you stupid. They want you fat. They want you ill. They want you not able to think straight. Having your cocktail withdrawal migraine, Excedrin number 65. That's the goal, ladies and gentlemen, is to keep throwing you off base every time you have a chance to get back on your feet. Now, there's several ways they sweeten up these deadly concoctions, and I'm not going to go into the tweaker drink, the Dr. Pepper, and the Fanta named after some Nazi company and all that nonsense. But here's the deal, folks. Well, maybe I should, because maybe I should go into Fanta, because, you know, Fanta's really special. You know, it's got that bright orange color, and it's named after some Nazi creation company. And you know, I always wondered how they made that orange color and how they made it not like turn black or something. Well, what's going on with Fanta is they use what's called a halide compound in there to stabilize it. They brominate vegetable oil, and they put this halide-laced vegetable oil, which is probably some GMO corn oil, and they put it in the drink. And ester of wood rosin and some other concoction is interesting additions to the killer cocktail. But you know, it's okay, because you love the way it tastes when it hits the back of your tongue, right? Then it goes down your throat and you can just feel it taking the enamel right off of your teeth. It's a great experience, you know, especially for somebody who can't get enough of it. Get enough of it and stop it now. Stop killing yourself with this garbage. Why is it that everybody has become so stupid that they fall for all this poison? Ladies and gentlemen, I've had enough. I've had enough of seeing all this suffering that's being brought on by the Pepsi Cola company and the Coca-Cola Company. And you know, they've broadened their operations to Gatorade. How they've gotten these kids on the soccer field to drink this this poisonous dye-laden, toxic compound-laden drink that actually makes you tired and thirsty after you drink this crap. I don't know, man. I don't know what it's going to take anymore. You know, I try to stay calm, but then I see these kids who are like 12 years old that weigh 150 pounds, and they're sucking on a Pepsi, and I want to run the Pepsi truck off the road, okay? I want to run the Coca-Cola truck off the road. I want to go into Walgreens and have the manager strapped to the floor and pour every ounce of this stuff down his throat and make him imbibe the 150,000 ounces that he's proliferating and making a commission off of selling to all of the unsuspecting morons that walk in there and walk out with their prescription filled in a case of this crap. But I can't do that. And I don't suggest you do that either. But you know what I do suggest? That you warn others about this crap. This crap. You know, why don't they just fluoridate the Coca-Cola instead of my drinking water? Why is that? Why don't they fluoridate the Pepsi? Because nobody drinks the water, but why are they poisoning my drinking water? Well, that's a whole nother discussion. Look, you really want to drink this stuff? You're nuts, all right? You want your wife drinking this stuff? Then good luck having a healthy-looking, normal-looking woman. This stuff is going to kill you, and it really affects the women the most. Because women are very soft and gentle creatures that get addicted to things a lot easier than men do. And once they get a taste of this crap, it takes them down for the count, okay? Now, they take the PE out of schools, and they put the donuts in the lunchroom, and they put the fluorescent lights on the roof, and the Pepsi truck shows up at the baseball game, and they got the Pepsi logo on the cups at the snack bar, the Coca-Cola logo on the cups at the snack bar, for these little kids as young as 5 years old to start drinking this garbage. And I'm going to go off right now. Their moms are all fat, and their dads are okay with it, and their moms are drinking this stuff. It ain't right, folks. It ain't right, and I'm sick of looking at what this stuff is doing to everybody. You women need to take control of your life and stop ruining your children and yourselves. And maybe your men wouldn't be at the massage parlors on the weekends, and maybe they'd pay more attention to you if you would take control of yourselves. But instead, you're too weak, and you keep drinking all this crap, and men, start paying attention to your women and stop letting them buy this crap. And if they're at the store, make them take it out of the cart. Have I said enough? Sugar is a weapon, folks. And Coca-Cola and Pepsi, those two corporations are one of the biggest purveyors of this weaponry. And they are ruining everybody with these products. You put these products on a tomato plant, it'll kill a tomato plant. You put these products on a bean plant, it will kill a bean plant. You put these products in a fish tank, it will kill the fish. You feed these products to your lizard or your turtle, it will kill your animals. Why do we put these products in the mouths of our children? Why do we put these products in the shopping carts at the store? Why do we put these logos on the cups at the snack bar on the Little League field? Why is that, folks? Because you're too stupid to realize what's being done to you. And you're too lazy to do anything about it. I will tell you right now, refined sugar is a weapon in and of itself. But high fructose corn syrup is that weapon in and of itself on steroids to the 20th power. When they switched from regular sugar to high fructose corn syrup, invented by some Japanese scientist, we have now gone from DEFCON 9 to DEFCON 20. High fructose corn syrup, first of all, in its refining process, has mercury in it. It also contains a sugar called fructose in high concentrations, which is metabolized not through pancreatic action and insulin secretion, but through your liver. High fructose corn syrup is a repository for heavy metals. High fructose corn syrup is now in all the sodas. High fructose corn syrup is in your yogurts. High fructose corn syrup is in your cereals. High fructose corn syrup is in everything, but you won't find a higher concentration of high fructose corn syrup in anything beside soda. All right? Look, I get mad because I love humanity and I love people. And I hate evil. And the people that commit evil deeds will be judged by God for destroying them. And you want to know something, folks? Their day's a lot sooner than you think. I mean, how sick do you have to be to market these evil products to children and then deliver them in aluminum cans laced with bisphenol A lining and make sure that you use some light form of acid like carbonic or phosphoric acid to get the aluminum into the solution? So you got kids fattening up on this stuff, rotting their teeth out, getting insomnia from all the caffeine, and they're getting the metals into their bloodstream so that their Xbox and their Wi-Fi system can hit those metals and burn up their neurological insulation called myelin in their brains and in their spinal cord. I'm telling you right now, folks, I'm going to keep blowing my horn until all you stupid people wake up out of your slumber and get mad as hell. Because that's the goal. Because nothing's going to change until you people get off your butts and dump that stuff out and start saying no to how they're killing you. And when you go into these stores and when you see this stuff stacked up, you need to go to the person that's looking at buying it and say, you know what, this stuff is poison. Don't drink it. The caffeine, the fluoridated vegetable oils. That's right, folks, the brominated vegetable oils, the caffeine, the high fructose corn syrup, the acesulfame potassium, the sodium benzoate, the natural flavors, artificial colors, the stabilizers, the caramel colors, the phosphoric acid, and anything else I missed in these demonic beverages marketed by pedophilic scum that run these companies. Let me tell you something about the people that run these companies. I have a friend of mine that worked on the tarmac at John Wayne Airport for years. And it wasn't the Southwest jets to Vegas that concerned him. It was the private jets that were going to different places with the executives of these companies that used to fly on these planes that concerned my friend the most. And I'll leave it at that, folks, because the companies that are marketing this garbage like Taco Hell and Kentucky Fried Crap and McKill Yourself and all of these companies that sell garbage that make you fat and sick and stupid, they're run by sickos. Because what kind of normal human being would get people addicted to poison and make them keep coming back for more, even as their guts are hanging over their steering wheels in the drive-thru begging for an extra side or whatever? It makes me sick, folks. And you know where all those poor people end up? Is at the doctors to get euthanized by petrochemical, pill-pushing allopathic monsters that finish the job, folks. Yep, the pill-pushing pimps in the white coats that hang the stethoscopes around their necks, even when they're out for a walk with their dog, folks, because they want everybody to worship them like they're something special. Let me tell you something, folks. They're nothing but a bunch of idiots, because if they weren't, they would be at the forefront of getting everybody off of the self-destructive behavior. Instead, they sit back and they cheat on their wives with the pharmaceutical rep in the miniskirt and go on those vacations and make sure their Stepford wife gets the alimony and the Prozac. That's what's going on. All right, I've had enough. I've said enough. And you want to know something? Fire and brimstone's going to come down on these evil people, folks, because that's what they deserve. And it may not come in this life. It'll just come when they're dead. And they'll realize who put the 75,000 miles of circulatory system in their bloodstream, and that when God spent 9 months making them in the womb, and you got these sickos concocting these witches' brews of highly addicted poisons to destroy them, it ain't going to go unpunished, folks. All right. I hope you enjoyed this rant. And no, those comments aren't necessary about doctors. You name me a good doctor. Let's talk about why they're not all standing against the vaccinations and the chemotherapy and all of these drugs. Medical systems are part of the eugenics operations. And if there's some good doctors out there, my hat's off to you. I've never found one. All the doctors I've met were a bunch of arrogant fools who think they know everything and who won't listen to anything, and anything contrary to their brainwashing is called a conspiracy theory. And if you don't like what I said, go watch Oprah or one of those other idiots like those people on the television set that will sit there and have you go to the Food Channel and add 15 pounds of sugar and 20 pounds of flour to your Crisco pile, and they'll teach you how to put a bunch of coloring on it and shove it down your throat so you look like someone that is going to need bariatric surgery. Go ahead. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the rant. It's awfully fun telling the truth and getting mad, because you know something, folks? It's a great way to get a point across, and the truth is painful, and sometimes there's different ways to deliver it. But I love delivering the truth, because you want to know something? The truth hurts, but it's a short amount of pain. And you want to know something? Once you've got the truth and you're set free by the truth, guess what happens? You're free indeed. All right. We'll talk to you soon, folks. Hope you enjoyed this broadcast. We'll try to get back to you tonight. I think tonight we're going to talk about hydrogenated oils and the Procter & Gamble Corporation and their patent from the 1930s. Going to be very interesting. God bless all you guys.